Alright guys, we back again. Everything you need to know about public transportation in the Philippines. Let's get it. Jeeps are cheap, ladies and gentlemen, and it's definitely good for your budget travelers. I mean, you can get around for a relatively good price. Next. As a foreigner, it is always best to have the exact change, because chances are they're not going to give it to you unless you ask for it. And if you want to ask for it, you always use the word cambio, which means change. So you would say cambio sa 20, which means change for 20, cambio sa 10, which means change for 10, and cambio sa 50, which is change for a 50. All right, just a couple of good terms to use and to know when using the jeepney system. Next. It's in your best interest to expect to sweat. Ladies and gentlemen, there are very few jeepneys that have air cons in the Philippines, so just make sure you're expecting for the sweat. Next. I have always found it to be extremely efficient and to your best benefit to plan to get your Jeep roughly about an hour or so before you're set to arrive at your particular destination. I find that to be useful because Jeeps do a lot of stopping, and depending on your distance, make sure you plan your travel accordingly for that particular reason. Jeeps stop a lot. Next, I gotta admit guys, my favorite person on the Jeep is the jeepney conductor, because this guy is extremely animated. I mean, this dude is always trying to find a way to make space where space is not meant to be found on a Jeep. He's always screaming at the passengers, "Palayok, palayok, palayok isibug," which means please move, please move. Palayok, please, isibug, move. And that is something that I learned throughout my time riding these Jeeps, man. This guy's gonna bang on the side of the thing and try to scoot you over and fit like 20 people on a seat where there's only meant to be 12 people on there. Next, with that being said, I have to admit guys, riding the Jeep is extremely educational. I learned a lot of my Visayan, Cebuana, and Filipino words riding the Jeep. As I mentioned, palioki sibug, cambio, things like that. That's really helped me to understand a little bit more about the Philippine language. So I have to admit, jeepneys definitely serve a purpose outside of just getting you from destination to destination. Next. All right, guys, this is a caution and it must be mentioned and it must be said. Jeeps can be extremely dangerous depending on the person operating the Jeep. I mean, if the person is a very aggressive driver, a person that likes to get in and out of traffic and, speed and things like that, you may want to find a way to actually disembark from that Jeep or get off as soon as possible. Because Jeeps get into accidents too, and when they do, they can be extremely nasty. So make sure you take precaution when using this particular public transportation in the Philippines. Next. And the last thing, ladies and gentlemen, I must admit that Jeeps are very, 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 very helpful in helping you to get to know your landscape in your new areas. I have found that riding Jeeps, I get to know new routes, new areas, and find new places that I probably otherwise would not have found if all I do was take a taxi from point A to point B, or take my, if you're driving a car or anything like that, from point A to point B, or your motorbike. Jeepneys, they have a route that they follow, and this route is consistent. And when you start following these routes, you'll start to say, well, damn, I didn't know this was over here, or I didn't know this mall was there. So it definitely gives you a landscape and a layout of, a map of your area which you're in. So I have found that jeepneys are extremely beneficial in that particular regard. Next. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, make yourself well versed in the Good Dots content. Everything that you need to know about me listed in the links in the description area below. Tell me some of the things that you've learned while riding the Jeeps or public transportation in the Philippines. My Filipinos, if you have anything that you want to add to this video, please feel free to share in the comment section below. With that being said, Doc is on to the next one. Take care. God bless. Peace. Next.